when you communicate that way, it almost leaves your partner confused,
Yeah, I can see that.
frustrated because for example, let's just say, honey, can you go to the store to get eggs?
Mm-hmm.
They've been
Yes,
out.
honey.
We need to get eggs.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'll go. Eventually. It's like, why you had to say that? Just say I'll go, but not right now.
Or just say I don't feel like it, or just say you mad, or just say whatever it is that you feeling. Because I think the confusion comes in with you're saying one thing but you're acting another way. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when someone is angry or feels some type of way, it's passive aggressive. So I'm gonna let you feel that I'm angry, or I'm gonna let you know, but I'm not gonna tell you. So it's indirect. So I could see, like, when teenagers, they mad, they want to slam their door to let
Mhm.
you know I'm mad, or they want to stomp their feet all aggressively. Like,
Yep.
that's what I think of, like a little child having a
Right.
tantrum.
Okay, so good.
We still do. We still do. We still do.
We still do after all this time at the altar. I alter my mind and vow to God I love you till he make his return. The rain should be the least of your concern. Under God's umbrella, I promise to provide and preserve his word and to serve your mind and spirit. Let me drive the boat. I promise I'ma steer it. The devil cannot get near it. You'll know this soon as you hear it. You need me, I need you. Even after the altar, we still do.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another edition of We Still Do. We're your host. I'm Jermaine.
I'm Lena.
And whether you're thriving, you've been in it for years, or you're newlyweds, We Still Do is for you.
It is. And if you haven't yet, make sure you like and subscribe. Click that notification bell so that you don't miss an episode of We Still Do. We do weekly uploads on Thursdays.
Yes.
And we would love to have you a part of this community.
Yes. And we're grateful that you're here with us. We don't take it lightly that you tune in to hear what we have to say, and we are
Yeah.
very intentional with what we want to share because we do feel like it'll help you thrive in your relationship. And so today, I want to just check in. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. Today's been a good start to my day.
Okay. All right.
I have no complaints. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Looking good.
Appreciate you.
I like that
Appreciate
cream
you.
on you.
Okay. I'm gonna keep it PG. I'm gonna keep it PG.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Anyway, so we wanted to talk to you about something that we think is very, very helpful when it comes to your relationship. And today, we want to talk about communication styles. And some of you probably have heard it before, different type of communication styles. And the reason we want to share about that today is because when it comes to getting your needs met, how you try to get those needs met make the difference. It really has an impact on your relationship. And so we just want to talk to you about some of the ways we try to do that, just by default. And so one of the things that we do want to go into is, before we talk about the communication styles, we want you to know that who you are when you were brought up impacts how you try to get your needs met. And so it's important to know that, because if you are trying to get something from your partner, like if you're trying to get them to understand you, if you're trying to get them to do something for you, the way you communicate the need is important. And so we just want to start off with saying that. And so the first one we want to go into is, there's four. There's passive, passive aggressive, assertive, and just flat out aggressive. We want you to know, like, don't think that you're a bad person if you fall in one of the three that aren't assertive.
Yeah.
You're not a bad person. But what we believe is that you learn to communicate your needs in a way that has helped you over the years. And you might notice that now in your relationship, it might not be working. And so we want to just go into why that might be. And so, honey, I'll kind of pass it off to you.
Okay.
Just starting us off, tell us a little bit about assertive.
Assertive. So assertive is someone who can clearly express how they're feeling. They can clearly communicate, and they have the mindset of my needs matter, but so do yours.
Mm,
And so it's not a from a selfish standpoint. Um, yeah, I think that's someone that's assertive.
okay. Assertive, good or bad?
It's good.
I don't know. Rhetorical question.
I'm like, what?
Um,
Assertive is good.
yes, assertive
You can
is
clearly express how you feeling. You don't shy away from conflict, even
good.
the
Mhm.
hard conversations, and you're considerate of both sides of the party in a conversation. That's a win.
Yeah. No, that's good. Because when we talk about assertive, like I think of putting up like a fence. You know, like
Mhm.
back in the day, we used to put used to have a stick or maybe a piece of chalk or something. We used to draw like a
Oh
line in the
yeah,
sand,
yeah, yeah.
or we used to put like a mark on the
Don't cross
ground.
this. Mm-hmm.
And in relationships, it's similar.
Mm.
There is a boundary that is in the line, and assertiveness says, I see the boundary.
Mm-hmm.
I see how you want me to talk to you. I see how um, my needs aren't getting met. And I want the way that I communicate to you about those needs to be clear. And so I'm not going to shy away from telling you what those needs are, but I also want to allow you the space to hear what I have to say and also make adjustments. And so we'll kind of circle back to um assertive later, but also like I think the one that I have adjusted from
Recovering
recovering
communication style.
communication style is passive.
Yeah.
And what passive communicators do is they really consider the other person's needs
Mhm.
and don't really consider theirs.
People pleasers.
Yeah. So in that, there is your needs matter, mine don't.
Mm.
Like, of course, nobody's going to say it like that. But when you think about it, a lot of times people who communicate passively, they just throw up their hands like it don't really matter.
Yeah.
You know, you might have couples, honey, where you want to eat? It don't really matter, wherever you want to go.
Mm.
Like I'm cool, whatever. And then underneath that, like they might feel like they want something else. And it's a very small, minute situation, but they always overlook their needs for the other person. And that is, I think, the heart posture is good because you're like, I want to make sure you're
Oh,
okay.
you trying to justify it because you recovering from it?
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
Not at
Go
all.
ahead.
But when you think about it, like at the core, like they want to make sure that you're taken care of. And sometimes in the need of mind going absent, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like at the heart. Now we're talking about at the core. But it's problematic when like we need to speak up
Mhm.
and we don't. That's when it's a problem.
So, what hindered you? Because you personally have experienced this
Mhm.
in being a passive communicator. What hindered you from speaking up?
It's a good question. Fair question. Solid question. Um, I think just part of who I am, like I'm a non-confrontational type of person, at my core. But what I learned growing up is because I'm non-confrontational, speaking up in the environment I grew up in meant that you were being confrontational.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Or you weren't allowed to speak up to adults. And so it was better to not speak up.
Meaning, like, stay in a child's place, or like
Yes.
your opinion doesn't matter. You
Stay,
don't pay no bills. Your
they both
opinion.
the same thing.
You ain't got no opinion in this house.
They both the same
Dang.
thing.
Okay.
And so when that happened, it was usually in times where there was like emotional escalation.
Mm.
So because, for example, let's just say if I got smart mouth with my mom at 13, because I'm in a space now where I'm a little bit taller than my mom, like I'm a male,
Mhm.
like she would tell me like, okay, wait till your daddy get home. And at that point, it was no way that like standing up for myself or speaking up about needs, even if I felt something was like unjust, like it would just come at a cost.
Yeah.
And so because I'm non-confrontational, it's like speaking up, like is it was energy draining for me.
Mm.
And so
So you
obviously,
just avoided it then.
yeah, I avoided it because I don't want to fight.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I was in high school, like I'm trying to keep my homeboy from fighting. This is the date of a game,
Mhm.
by the way. Like after school, but before the game, we got a little time to get situated, all that. Like literally, he's walking around looking for this guy to fight, and I'm just like, bro, like we don't need to be on this, bro. We got a game, but at the same time, you my boy, and I'm gonna just be here.
Mhm.
And so I chose to just be there for my boy rather than telling him or speaking up, saying like this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, so walking around, we get in a fight, and it's like, for what? You know what I'm saying? Now, like in the game, like my nervous system is all in shock because you got 100 people following around this person who want to fight because he's well known on campus,
Mm.
and then you got the starting quarterback. So of course people want to be there for that, and it was just a mess. And so not speaking up in those moments, it made life difficult. And I didn't do it because I didn't want confrontation, but I still got confrontation because I went into a
Because
fight.
you didn't do it.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes
That's a
like
good point, though. You didn't want confrontation, so you didn't speak up. But because you didn't speak up, there was still confrontation.
yes,
So the very thing you were avoiding still happened.
exactly.
And I feel that when it comes to being passive, one thing that comes to mind, the scripture that comes to mind is the commandment, right? Like we are to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Do you feel like it was like a lack of self esteem or like confidence, or does any of that play into you being able to respond in terms of being passive? And the reason why I asked that is because the thought process is your needs matter, but mine don't. So is it a lack of like self love to see others like, you know what I mean?
Uh, just thinking of that moment, it's hard to.
Not that moment, just in general, overall.
I know, but starting in that moment, trying to trace it back, like in that moment, the need, the need to make sure he didn't get jumped was more important than me looking like a coward or a punk.
Okay.
So because I didn't want to look like that, like in that got me in a lot of situations. Like like don't write a check with your mouth that you can't cash.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of like that. So when I think about like when I think about what was underneath it, I don't necessarily think it was I don't necessarily think it was a lack of confidence. I think it probably centered around more fear,
Oh, okay.
like a fear of how I would be perceived.
Mm.
Like if I spoke up against like somebody who is wanting to like make somebody else respect their name.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, like I think it had more to do with like how I would be perceived as like a coward if, you know what I'm saying, like in situations like that. But I would say like in moments where, for example, in our marriage where I feel more hesitation to bring something up, it still centers around the same thing, but um the root fear is different, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So it's not a matter of feeling like I'm gonna be perceived as a coward. It's more of like what my nervous system feels is like this is a threat to your connection because if you share this with her the way that you feel or think it initially, like this is probably going to push her away.
Oh, wow.
And so that's more of the hesitation because think about it. Like my family history, especially on my dad's side, but also on my mom's side, like we're hotheads.
Mm.
And I really wonder, how do I get that? Like to me, it's no other way outside of um passed down through the lineage.
Mhm.
And so for me, I know how intense my anger is. And so when I want to share something or say something about something that made me feel a type of way, like in those moments where I want to share it, there's so much that comes up with that.
Mm.
And so it's like, ooh, I I don't know. I don't
So
know if
you're
I
actually
could.
choosing like the high road in moments like that. You know what I mean? If you know that what you're sharing is going to come up out of anger or something
Hmm.
like that, and then being passive to avoid conflict, that's different because that can potentially, I mean, if you add fuel to a fire, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. But
that can be an explosion.
it could be, but I'm also in a different space now.
Yeah.
Back when it wasn't as, because I'm more assertive now. Like I know how to share what I want to share and I know how to share it in a clear way.
Hmm.
But back when, like, I wouldn't joke with nobody because I couldn't tell jokes. And so don't laugh because I'm funny and I'm funny now.
Okay.
Um
Who's going to tell him? Just kidding. I love you, honey. You're
no,
hilarious.
stop being passive aggressive.
I know,
Just
perfect
kidding.
example.
Just kidding. But
Sarcasm.
but because I couldn't tell jokes, I would always go to the thing that's gonna hurt because you telling jokes and I can't tell jokes and you got everybody laughing at me, that hurts.
So you would kill him with truth.
Not necessarily true, but the one thing that I know would hurt him.
Ooh.
Like something about your mama, but it was something that I knew about your mom.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's what I said. Truth.
You know what I'm saying? So it was
Yeah.
it was a little in there, like it might have been a little exaggerated, but then it was some direct attack, like calling somebody out their name.
Mm.
Like I knew that would get them to the place of feeling how I felt. So
Embarrassed.
so that was the root of my, like, when my anger came out,
Hmm.
that's what that was. So
So on the topic of passive, because that's the communication style that we're on, one thing that I hear from a lot of women who have passive men, they now have to carry the weight and they feel burdened and like weighed down because a lot of times a passive man don't step up into their leadership role to lead the home.
mhm,
And so the wife has to carry that. Or if they're like, oh,
yeah,
what do you think about this? Even in decision making, they can be passive and just let it be all on you to decide.
mhm,
And I can see that as something that can be weighty because as a couple, we're supposed to shoulder it together. And it's like, no, you just leaving it all up to me because
mhm,
you don't want to have an opinion or you don't want to be direct or assertive or you know what I
mhm,
mean?
yeah,
So it's actually a hindrance in communicate as far as a communication style. Being passive can totally be
mhm,
something that hinders your marriage because I can see that leading to bitterness and resentment. And then it depends on the communication style of your wife,
mhm,
to what that can look like. But I was
yeah,
just thinking about that. Like when there's a passive man that's just like, oh, yeah, whatever you say, whatever you want, or whatever,
yeah,
then the weight off falls on the wife.
it does. And I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and he was sharing how, like, in his relationship, he's more passive. Like he's more like, like it's whatever you want.
Hmm.
And I remember him sharing with me like the problem that leads to him the problem that leads to him in his marriage is when she feels like super, like overwhelmed, stressed, whatever, like it's almost as if because he's passive, he's not able to relieve some of that pressure. So
Mm.
like she feels the responsibility, but because he's not stepping up, basically like what she said, like to help lead, to take the initiative, like it's not taking any pressure off of her shoulders. So
Wow.
it's like, yeah, I feel the pressure, but even when I bring this to you, you don't even help take it off because you don't know what to say and you kind of go into freeze mode.
Wow.
And so it's like people pleasing or someone who might be passive pulls back from being able to release some of that pressure.
Mm.
And so it can hinder the relationship. Being passive can hinder the relationship because what you think you're doing of not wanting to cause conflict in fact causes conflict. Because
That's
there's
literally what you were saying earlier. Yeah.
because you have a need and you're not expressing that need
Mm-hmm.
and you almost suppress your need. And so that really builds this internal conflict. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when it comes to passive behavior, people need to know that even though you try to avoid conflict and you don't want to cause trouble in your relationship, it causes trouble in your
Mhm.
relationship
Because you're avoiding it. Yep.
because you're avoiding it. And I just want to validate them. Like, I get it. You know, like as a recovering passive communicator, I understand the need to not cause conflict. Like, I remember me and you had a conversation a long time ago about finances. And I remember that
Sorry, y'all. We have kids, and they are here as we're recording.
They are.
You will hear them.
it is what it is. But I remember we had a conversation about finances, and I remember you got to a point where it was like, okay, like I know like I'm more of like the manager when it comes to this type of thing,
Mhm.
but I need your help
Yeah.
because I'm starting to get overwhelmed. And in that, me not having the conversation with you or leaning into that conversation or even helping you out, help bear that load, it still put a lot of stress on you.
Yeah.
And so that was something that we had to work through in our marriage, just even talking about finances.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say because again, it just makes you feel like there's this weight, but there's not a willingness to shoulder it, by
Mhm.
just kind of like being nonchalant or passive about it. So you said it good. Like it actually creates more trouble by you
Yeah.
trying to avoid.
So the second communication style we want to talk about is passive aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where you avoid directly expressing yourself
Mm-hmm.
and you share it in an indirect way.
Yeah.
I know that sounds kind of, whatever, but
Basically, I'm mad, but I'm not gonna tell you I'm mad.
right. But I'm also expressing my anger in a way that's indirect too.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, like I'm not going to come out and tell you directly that I'm angry.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I tell you directly that I'm angry, then that's still going to bring some type of trouble, some type of conflict. And so I have to be careful. So it's basically like, sure, like I'll take out the trash eventually.
So you would hesitate to take it out or wait to take it out because you mad about it?
Because I don't want to do it.
Oh.
Here's the thing. Like if you say like, can you take out the trash? I'll say, sure, I'll take out the trash. I'm not gonna take it out right now. I'll take it out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it out when I want to.
When you want to, but not because I asked you to.
Right.
Mhm.
You asked me, but I don't want to. So instead of saying I don't want to, I'll say eventually.
Mm.
And so what that does is that is someone's way of, I don't like how you're doing all this head shaking and all that.
I'm mad. No, I'm just kidding.
That's someone's way of trying to obtain autonomy, like this sense of like control over self in a situation that you have control, but you feel control.
Mm.
And so like something as simple as a request like that, I'm expressing anger indirectly. You know what I'm saying? Like I think about our daughter, she expresses that boy straight to you.
Directly. She is very assertive.
I'm angry.
She goes like this.
This little girl.
Hey, but at least we
crazy.
know how she's feeling. You ain't never got to guess with her.
Yeah. But the crazy part is, like, the person who is passive aggressive don't even realize that what they're trying to express is rubbing off on their partner the wrong way.
Mm.
You gave me that, like, that sounds like
Explain,
something. Explain
elaborate.
that. Yeah. Okay.
Please tell me more.
Absolutely. So when you communicate it, when you communicate that way, it almost leaves your partner confused,
Yeah, I can see that.
frustrated, because for example, let's just say, honey, can you go to the store to get eggs?
Mm-hmm.
They've been
Yes, honey.
out. We need to get eggs.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'll go. Eventually. It's like, why you had to say that? Just say I'll go, but not right now.
Or just say I don't feel like it, or just say you mad, or just say whatever it is that you feeling, because I think the confusion comes in with you're saying one thing but you're acting another way. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when someone is angry or feels some type of way, it's passive aggressive. So I'm gonna let you feel that I'm angry, or I'm gonna let you know, but I'm not gonna tell you. So it's indirect. So I could see, like, when teenagers, they mad, they want to slam their door to let you know I'm mad, or they want to stomp their feet all aggressively. Like,
Yep.
that's what I think of, like a little child having a tantrum.
Okay, so good. Okay, so good question. Why do you think teenagers do that?
They being passive aggressive because they know that they can't say nothing back. So they want to be passive aggressive about it because they can't be assertive or even aggressive with an adult because of a respect factor, or because they know the wrath that's going to come with it if they do.
The wrath that's gonna come with it when they do. So I want you to take that, and I want you to think about adults.
Are we having a therapy session?
No, we're not having
Okay.
a therapy session, but we can have one if you want.
Go ahead.
I'm like not free. But anyway, so think about it. Like, they're expecting this wrath to come if I'm going to directly tell you.
Mm-hmm.
As adults, like, we might have more of a, let's just say, like, I'm being passive aggressive towards you.
Mhm.
I know you're a woman. Like, I know, like, I lift way more than you. So me being passive aggressive towards you isn't about, like, this actual terror, but there's something about my body in this moment that says it doesn't feel safe. And
That's what I was
so
going to say.
I'm,
It's a safety thing.
so I'm angry, but I have to express it in a way that's not sending that directly to you, because if I do, you're more than likely going to be more assertive or more aggressive to me, or you're going to call me out about it, and I don't know what to do when you send it back my way.
Mm.
And so what I might do is I might deflect it. I'm not angry. You know what I'm saying? And so there's this felt sense. There's this felt sense of, if I say this, it's dangerous.
Mm.
We
Okay,
won't
that
call
makes
it. We
sense.
won't call it that as adults,
Now I have a tender heart for them.
because think about it. Like, there's still a need.
Yeah.
Like, this is one thing. Like, I took an externship for therapy, and one of the things the trainer said is, when it comes to couples, you have to keep an attachment frame. What that means is their behavior makes sense. What is it about their behavior that points to relationship distress? Because at the end of the day, when they got together, they didn't get together to be upset. They didn't get together to be passive aggressive. They got together because they loved each other,
Right.
and they wanted to be together. So if that's the case of why they got together, how does this make sense? Why is there a sense of distress? Why do I have to be passive aggressive? And so when you think about the terror or danger, there is some underlying fear. It's hard to get there, hard to get to it, but it all makes sense. And I know there's a lot of people who might communicate that way, and to them, it's like they might be aware that they communicate that way, but it's something about them that just says, like, I can't tell you directly because I'm going to hurt you.
I believe most probably don't recognize that that's the way that they communicate. I mean, because this is why we're making you aware. Okay, number 3. What's the third one?
The third one. The third one is going to be aggressive.
This is the fourth one.
The third one. Remember, we're coming back to
Oh,
assertive.
we're coming back to assertive. Okay, yes. I was right then. Number 3.
Is aggressive. Tell us about
Aggressive.
aggressive.
Aggressive is where they're very expressive, but in a hostile or like an angry way, where they're sharing. It's more so about their needs and not a care or concern for yours,
Mhm.
and getting their point across and expressing that, and really just not considering the other person.
Mhm.
I could see someone, I've been around a few people that are aggressive, and a lot of times they overtalk the other person, and they can't get a word in.
Mhm.
Those are just some of the things that I've learned, and I can see if someone was aggressively talking to me, where it would make me just personally shut down, because for one, you not letting me get a word in, you don't care what I have to say anyways,
Mhm.
and just being aggressive in your approach. I could also see verbal abuse falling under here.
Mhm.
Um, depending on what's being said in the moment, where aggression or aggressive communication is at play. Yeah, that's just some things that come to mind for me in terms of someone that has an aggressive communication style.
Okay. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
I
Did
don't
I say all
expect.
bad
I don't
things,
expect. I don't
therapist?
expect you to get it right.
Okay.
But I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Wrong answer. Okay.
How does that make sense in an attachment frame? Somebody who's aggressive.
Their behavior, because you
Mhm.
said the attachment frame has to deal with their behavior, right?
The attachment frame is this makes sense why they're like that.
This makes sense. This makes sense while they're like that. It's the communication style that they grew up in or around, so it's all they know. So that would make sense to them. Or is it more of, are you looking for the answer where it's affected by the other person? So they're bringing that out of them, like triggering them in some way,
Okay.
maybe
Okay.
to where they get aggressive,
Mhm.
or they feel like it's the only way that their needs can get met, or the only way that they can be understood.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. No, that's good. You
Okay.
jumping in the ballpark.
Okay. Am I in there kind of a little bit? First
Yeah,
base
you
or
are.
second?
You are.
Okay.
It depends on where you're trying to end up.
Okay. Home run, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. Think about when someone gets aggressive. What's going on? They're getting aggressive. They're trying to make their needs be known.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my needs matter, yours don't, right?
Mhm.
Even if you want to include temperament, how they were born, like how they naturally are, even if you want to include environment in a relationship, and this is not 100% true for everybody, but when you think about people who get aggressive, they get aggressive because they're trying to accomplish something that only aggression can accomplish
Mm.
in their mind.
Okay.
In their mind.
I'm like, I don't agree, but okay.
In their mind.
In their mind.
And so when you think about people who are getting aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
it's usually because how they were saying it before or how they were presenting before, their needs weren't getting met. Think about a husband who yells at a wife. There's something, and this is going to mess up a lot of people's thoughts. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't just yell for no reason. There's something that is in him that alerts him danger. And it sounds weird when you think of it that way. Danger. This is off. This feels wrong. And so when you think about it in that light, there's something about this situation that tells him like aggression is how I get my needs met. Whether it's I want you to see me, whether it's I want to control you, whether it's like when I'm out of control, like I feel like I'm losing my power, whatever it is,
Mhm.
whatever the need is, aggression is their way of accomplishing that.
Okay.
And so they have to get aggressive in moments where
They don't have to,
know
but they think they do.
they think they do.
Mm-hmm.
In moments where, and obviously we're just talking about marriage, husband, wife.
Right.
Like they get aggressive because they feel like this need that I have, whether it's in a bad sense, like to keep you submitted, to keep you seeing me as the head of the house, to keep you respecting me, I gotta make you respect me.
Mm.
And so aggression comes up that way. Or
Mm.
even when you just talk about simply communicating, like aggression might sound something like, what are you doing? Like you never think. And so in those moments, it's like aggression has worked for them over and over and over and over and over. Here's the thing, because I'm gonna let you rebuttal. I see
I
you
don't
got
want
a
a
rebuttal.
rebuttal. I have nothing.
I see you got a rebuttal.
No.
Underneath that, it still makes sense when you consider the attachment, when you consider the relationship. And it's hard to see because you have somebody who's aggressive and they're just like the person who's frowned upon in the relationship. But when you really get curious to why is this behavior? For a lot of them, it's because they're not heard or they're not seen. And I don't want you to, because let me just say this. When we think of aggression is not just people who raise their voice.
Mhm.
Aggression is not just it's not just the male.
Of course not.
And
Tell me some areas of aggression.
I mean, depends on what you mean. You can
Or I
be
guess
aggressive.
what that could look like, because you were just saying, well, the things that it's not. So what is it?
So aggression can be emotionally. Like it's all about how I feel.
Mm.
Like you never consider my emotions, or like, why do you always do that? It can be sexually. It can be like, I want to have sex and we're gonna have sex. I get you don't feel like you're in the mood, but we're gonna have sex.
Mhm.
Like, I need to have sex. This is what makes me feel balanced, and like I'm angry, and this helps. Like, I mean, it can be that way as well.
Mhm.
Obviously, it can be verbally.
Well, that's what we're talking about, aggressive communication style.
Right, but even in those, whether it's emotionally, like it comes out verbally,
Right.
but in those moments, you use your verbal aggression to get what you want.
Okay.
And so those are just some different ways it shows up. I mean, you can apply it to pretty much any situation
Yeah.
in the relationship, but that's what aggression will look like. Aggression is like, how I feel matter, yours don't. And usually because they have a sense that how my needs aren't getting met, I need to be aggressive to get my needs met.
Mm.
I know. Crazy when you think about it like that.
It is.
But in some way, and I think that, let's just say like somebody is telling us to pray for their marriage. If it would be hard to pray for that person from a pure heart if you don't see them as somebody who is flawed, but also somebody who wants love.
Yeah.
Somebody who's made in God's image.
Mhm.
Like, if you look at the person as like, okay, like, you aggressive, like how you talk, I don't like that. Like, it kind of alters how you pray a little bit. And so you really want to be careful with like being one-sided with prayer. So anyways, that was just a little tidbit. But then there's a fourth one, which is, this is where we want everybody to be, which is assertive.
Mhm.
And so me personally, I felt like for the years that I've known you, you've been pretty assertive with how you communicate.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
How do you see yourself?
No.
I'm curious. No.
Go ahead. Please elaborate. How am I assertive?
No. Because I said where I was. Where was you? How do you feel? Where you feel your communication
Where was I?
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like I'm assertive because I am a pursuer, and so obviously in conflict, like I don't avoid it, I run towards it, but I think I don't know about the concise part, but I'm definitely clear in like my expectations, what I need, how you could help me, how I'm feeling. I feel like if I got an issue with you, like I'm assertive to where I can come to you and there's no confusion about what I want, what we discussing. And I think that I do try to consider all the elements that tie into having a conversation, my motive, checking my heart, considering yours, praying about it before. Is it the right timing? Like, I think that all that is in play, but I think that it's not just my needs. I truly do consider you, you know, when I'm approaching you or having certain conversations. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would fall into assertive too. I would agree with you. But I
You do.
feel like there are moments I feel like where maybe I've been passive about some things too. You know what I mean? No, don't look at me like that. What was that little smirk?
You know the sandwich method, like good, bad, good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing now.
Why?
The good, you're assertive.
Uh-huh.
The bad, you can be passive.
Okay. I think you can probably have more than one. Not that you can have a primary communication style, but it's not to say that at times you don't
There
fall
we
under
go.
the other
There we
categories.
go. Yeah.
Okay.
It depends on the situation
Mhm.
and depending on what people you have a relationship with.
Yeah.
For example,
There's moments I can be aggressive though. Am I aggressive?
it depends on who you're
To
with.
you, am I aggressive? Is that too aggressive?
No, that was scary. Maybe not aggressive, but scary
I'm just kidding.
because that came from a place. I'm just wondering where that came from.
I was just trying to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Sorry, too much?
Yeah, but where did you get your embodiment of aggressive from? Like, who did you
I don't
see?
know.
What did you see? What movie?
Okay, now you're trying to do your therapy move on me. There's no underlying motive. There's no question underneath the
It's
question.
a yo.
It's a yo.
Shout
Okay.
out to Lanaya. But no, so moments where you come off as I probably wouldn't say necessarily passive, but probably more passive aggressive.
Okay. Yeah, I can do a little sarcasm. Mm-hmm.
Not a little sarcasm.
Just a-
You can say it, and you say it, and you do. I can almost verbatim, like without the words, look how you look when you sarcasm.
Look, let me see. Show the people.
I can't show them because like it won't make sense to them.
Okay, show me.
Like
I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
you'll look at me, you'll squint your eyes a little bit. You'll squint your eyes a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and then you'll tilt your head,
Mm.
and then you'll just give me that like, whatever you say, like, I can't believe you. Like that's the undertone. Like I can't
Really?
believe you just.
I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah, but it'll be like that, but it'll be sarcastic.
I don't know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
When you are being when I've said something or did something where it might have left you confused or it might left you feeling a type of way, I might have said something that you didn't like or whatever.
Mhm.
Like you'll look at me and the undertone would be like, I can't believe you just,
Said that? Oh.
but you don't say that,
But I look it.
but it comes out in sarcasm.
Mm.
Like I can't even explain it, but the way you communicate that, like it literally leaves me feeling like, bro, you acting like I'm like saying something that's outrageous.
Oh.
No,
Does
I'm
it
not.
make you feel enraged?
No, it don't make me feel enraged. It make me feel like, bro, like, are you listening?
Oh. Like I just completely missed it.
Yeah.
We're having a
Completely
therapy
missed it.
session. Welcome to,
Um,
to our couch.
but no, seriously. So I think you hit a point though, because we do have a primary, but at certain times, other sides would come out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think that was good. So
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
um,
And I'm curious to, I think the question we all want to know the answer to is you are recovering passive communication style. Where have you graduated to?
I
Not graduated,
graduated-
but you know what I mean? How do you associate with your communication now?
I'm assertive.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I want it. No? Okay. Just go ahead.
Oh, I definitely see how you got there from assertive.
Wow. Okay, go ahead.
But no, like I know that part of my growth is speaking up in moments where I feel the need to want to hold back.
Yeah, that's good.
And so just making that a practice of in difficult conversations, having difficult conversations, that I know that increases my capacity to deal with and manage difficult emotions that come up.
Yeah.
And so by doing that over and over and over, it helps me have those difficult conversations and difficult moments. But it also tells me that you can have those hard conversations.
Yeah.
You can speak up for yourself. Like, and every time I do it, it just gets easier and easier and easier
Which is a good
to
thing.
say it more clear to communicate. Because at the end of the day, I think we get in marriage because at least people who are healthy get in marriage because they want to be together. They want to experience this love, this passion that they felt. And I think in the miscommunication of these particular communication styles is how we lose that connection.
Yeah. You missing each other.
And we don't know how to recover.
Yeah.
For one, we haven't been taught, or we don't have anybody to coach us or show us how to get through those stuck moments. And so I think because we all want to be loved, we all want love, we all want connection, especially to our significant other, we have to learn how to come back together after we miss the mark.
That's good.
So, yeah, that was cool.
And I think it's good to say or note that no matter what your communication style is, there are always ways that you can change. Like even your willingness to change or to identify like, hey, I've been more passive and this is not a communication style that's going to work for me to have the marriage I want, or for me to be able to connect with my wife to want, or for me to be able to carry some of the burden, or, you know what I mean, to partner with her. So no matter where you are, where you fall in any of these communication styles, of knowing like that's something with, for one, intentionality and a willingness that you can work towards changing to be more assertive, ideally, is what you would want to be, to where you're considering the other, both needs are getting met, you're considering the other person, and you're able to express how you feel no matter good, bad, ugly, conflict, whatever that looks like. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and I think just practically for the one who's more passive, speaking up helps with that.
Yep.
For the one who's more aggressive, softening your delivery can help you be more clear.
And listening
some
more than you talk.
Yeah. But yeah, so you got a marriage in motion for us to...
Our marriage in motion today is, okay, let me tell you. So we're going to switch it up, right?
We're going to start this thing all right.
Yeah, okay, so notice your default, right? Whatever your default communication style is. And at the end of this week, ask yourself, did I speak up, as we were saying, or did I hold back? Pick a moment. Choose a situation, a real situation, whether it was a decision, whether it was a disagreement, or something that you need to express but you haven't yet, and intentionally practice assertive communication style. So here's a sentence to kind of help you out, all right? When blank happens, I notice myself wanting to blank. What I really need is blank, right?
Yes.
So that can help you in being more assertive with expressing that need that you have, and then debrief together about that. Have a conversation. How did it feel to communicate that way? What did we learn about each other? And how did it affect our connection? I promise you it's only going to help to connect as you are communicating. And so I really do believe that communication is the key to having a healthy marriage. Like communication is everything.
It is. And what we want to do when we communicate is we want to send clear messages. When we're passive, when we're aggressive, they mix up the signals of what we're trying to get across. And so us just giving you this practical sentence helps you be more clear with what you're trying to say.
Yep. Thank you so much, y'all, for tuning in. This was a wild one. Y'all gonna hear the kids and all the things. Summer break is here. But thank you so much.
Summertime.
Summertime. But we are so thankful. Please share this with someone you know that is struggling maybe in their communication, in their relationship. It could use some guidance on how to identify that and how to improve on that if need be. Please, again, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and thank you for joining us. We truly believe that you can thrive after the altar. This is We Still Do.
Peace.
Forever and always, gonna love you and always. No doubt you're my blessing. Ain't no second guessing. No one can separate. We find a good thing. Even after the altar, it's marriage in motion.